Hello everyone, my name is Yvonne Corral and I will be doing my presentation on contracts. A brief overview on contracts and what it is a contract is a promise or a set of promises for the breach of which the law gives a remedy, or the performance of which the law in some way recognizes as a duty. In short, an agreement or arrangement for services for a fixed price. There's elements to a contract. Some of these elements are offer, acceptance, consideration, and enforceability. We'll start with offer. An offer is one or both of the parties made a promise to do or refrain from doing a specific action in the future. An offer is or should be communicated, committed, and has definite terms. People are free to make contracts and in general to revoke them. Acceptance. The offer was accepted unambiguously. Acceptance was made by words, deeds, or performance as specified in a signed contract. Another element, consideration. Something of value was promised in exchange for the specific action or non-action. This can take the form of a significant expenditure of money, a promise to perform a service, and an agreement between to do or not to do something, or reliance on the promise. Consideration is the value that induces the parties to enter into that contract. Forcibility. In contract law, the concept of forcibility is used to limit the award of special or consequential damages to those that are the predictable consequences of the breach of contract. This is an area where the law will fill in the blanks for the parties if they don't deal with it contractually. So it makes sense to think the issue over and see if you can come to an agreement that you will believe fair to both sides. Most construction contracts don't address the subject of damages for delay in completion, in which case the common law will generally apply. How do you know if you're in a contract and what are your rights in that contract? What binds you to a contract and how do you know not to breach that contract? And what are your rights in a contract? A binding contract. In addition to being clear and specific, a contract must meet certain criteria to make it legally enforceable. A legally enforceable contract, binding contract, can be used in court to support a decision on a disputed item. If a contract does not have certain essential ingredients or specifics, it is not legally enforceable. Most contracts never see a courtroom, and they could easily be verbal unless there is a specific reason for the contract to be in writing. When something goes wrong, a written contract protects both parties. If either party breaches the contract, the party being harmed can bring a lawsuit against the party who is believed to have signed the agreement. Specifics and details in a contract. This is something that myself personally I have learned. I've learned in taking this course with Business 347 is it's very, very important before you sign a contract that there's specific and details in that contract. These are some of the things that should be in the contract. A thorough, well-organized contract is one of the most important parts of a successful construction project. Take time to draw out and read a contract before signing it. Details in the job being performed, payment terms, time of performance, and what constitutes a completion of that project or construction. Liability waivers, liens and waivers, mid-performance amendments, and voiding contract if job is being performed and damages are foreseeable. Specifics, other specifics, warranties, late performance and dispute resolutions, site maintenance, additional agreements and amendments. What happens when a contract is breached? In a perfect world, all parties involved in a contract would abide by the terms. In a perfect world. That does not happen on the real world, unfortunately, and therefore legal action is sometimes the last resort. When a dispute of a contract arises, the next step is usually a lawsuit. Depending on the monetary and amount of the parties, may able to resolve the issue in a small claims court. The parties may also agree to have a mediator to assist in resolving a dispute. The main remedies for a breach of contract are damages, which is usually monies, specific performance, cancellation, and restitution. Specific performance. Specific performance, if damages are inadequate as a legal remedy, the non-breaching party may seek an alternative remedy called specific performance. Specific performance is best described as the breaching party's court-ordered performance of duty under that contract. Specific performance also may be used as a remedy for breach of contract if the subject matter of the agreement is rare or unique, and damages would not suffice to place the non-breaching party in as good as a position as they would have been if it had the breach not occurred. Damages. The payment of damages, payment may come in different forms. The most common remedy for a breach of contract are the following. Compensatory damages aim to put the non-breaching party in the position they would have been in if they had not breached the contract. Punitive damages are payments that the breaching party must make above and beyond the point that would fully compensate the non-breaching party. Nominal damages are token damages, small amount of damages awarded when a breach occurred, but no actual money lost to the non-breaching party was proven. Liquidated damages are specific damages that were previously identified by the parties in the contract itself. In the event that the contract is breached, liquidated damages should be a reasonable estimate of actual damages that might result from a breach. This concludes my presentation on contracts. A contract is a legal binding agreement. Do your research on type of work or service you are planning to tackle. If you are getting into contract, make sure you completely and unequivocally specify all the details of the intended contract. Communicate extensively with the other party. Ask lots of questions. Make sure you read thoroughly the contract and don't be afraid to ask for clarifications if needed. Counter the potential offer if you don't agree 100% with the terms, and if you have doubts about some things, include an addendum outlining all your specifics so there is no confusion and no misinterpretations. Finally, make sure that that contract is enforceable by law and that you evaluate all risks before signing that contract. I really would like to share a little bit now on my own personal experience. We've been in Business 3047 class for about 10 weeks now. During that time, it just synchronized. I was doing a remodel in my backyard, and I would like to show you some of that, okay? So that hopefully in the future, this can be avoided by any of you who are going to enter into a contract or are thinking of entering into contract for any type of remodeling of your home. I will say, for the most part, we're happy with our remodel. There's just a lot of little specifics and details that we felt as the offerees, as the homeowners, to communicate with the contractor. I'm actually going to add my husband a little bit into this presentation only because he was the one about 80% that was communicating with the contractor. I was mostly on the design part of it, but these are things that I was able to share with him. Because of Business 347, I've learned so much about contracts, and I will continue to do more research on it because we're still not finished with another part of our home. you know, we've done plenty of remodels. This just has been one of the biggest ones and by far the most costly ones for us, especially when I would say that we're about 75% satisfied with the construction. Uh, Forgive me, nature and helicopters, but this is our backyard. I hope you can see that. And there's the pool. Really nice, actually. We've got yet to invite family over. There's still some minor details that we have to do. This is my husband, Manuel Solano.
Hello.
And is there anything that you can help me add here as far as our process and what we went through? You know, as I'm stating for Business 347, that there's things that we failed as the offerees, as the other party, the non-breaching party, of what we could maybe do better next time, as far as before signing a contract. Anything that you feel that we failed as homeowners before entering to the contract?
Yeah, we probably should have done a little bit more research on what really entails when, you know, getting into a contract with the contractor, and probably better have better communication and put our terms very specific on the contract.
Very good.
Because mostly we went by what the contract was telling us, but we told them what we wanted, but it wasn't specifically specified in writing in the contract.
We had ideas, right? We had an idea that we wanted a pool, which we got. He performed that. He did do a nice job in the pool. Again, there's just some details that weren't performed by the contractor. I will say, again, you would say what, we're about 75, 80% satisfied.
75, yeah.
It's a really nice pool. I'm just gonna go around and, you know, just to show you guys why it's so important to put all those little details, put your terms in there. Is a contract avoidable? You know, can we amend it as we go? Because there was things that we ran into that we didn't know. You know, and we're gonna start over here just so you can see some of them. This concrete was done prior to them coming in and doing the darker. If you can see, this is the darker concrete. This was what was done by the contractor. Okay. This was, I will say, it was very uneven, very dangerous to be out here, and it now looks nice. Unfortunately, where we failed is to specify the cleaning, you know, the cleanup after construction. What was the contractor liable for? As you can see, if you can point out, honey, all the little details that weren't here before that we failed as homeowners to specify in the contract. So what was left?
So there's some quite a few stains from the contractor that did the pool after they did that. You know, the dark concrete that they failed to clean after, you know, and make it look the way it was. They left a lot of stains. Now it's something that we're gonna have to deal ourselves and spend money to get a.
As you can see, the cracks.
So that's one of the things. You know, the cleaning. I guess we didn't specify enough, and we probably should have been a little more forward with the contractor as far as what we wanted. There's also some inside of the pool. If you see that tile around the pool, on some places on the tile they didn't put enough grout, and there's, you know, like cracks in there that were not filled out correctly. You know, just some of the details. There's you know, just some of the details that are we could have done a better job ourselves and let the contractor know.
Also here, this is where an actual handrail, you know, for safety was supposed to be installed and was not. We had to do it after, unfortunately, damaging our coping, our beautiful coping, because it was left nicely. It now, as you can see, has a different color.
The concrete, yeah, it's different colors so they don't match.
Different color, which is going to cost us to fix, you know, again, more money. Just so you know, this whole project costed us $31,000. We did enter it into good faith, and we're good people, so we paid the $31,000. Why? Because we also took blame on this on our part. We took the responsibility of knowing that we failed to not add those specifics into our contract. So it wasn't just the contractor, it was us as the homeowners, and you know, doing the construction and not doing our research, you know, not adding all those specifics. These are things that we're, you know, again, as you can see here, that we are stuck with fixing and spending more money. You know, there's a lot of little minor things, but as we all know, they add up. It's more money. We did pay out the full $31,000, as I stated, and unfortunately, it's money. It's money at the end of the day, and we just wanted to avoid a costly, you know, small claims court, you know, lawsuit. We had some differences with the contractor. We chose to be the better party, right, and just settle it, you know, out of court. We did hold the last payment until the contractor came and fixed the, you know, some of the minor details, but not everything was done. And you can see over here, there's another thing that was left undone. You know, this is the kind of work that we got because we as homeowners failed to make those specifics. But those are just some things that I wanted to share in my presentation. I hope this gives you more insight of why it's so important to enter a contract. Only after doing your research, after making sure that you know what you want, you sit down and write it down, think it out. You know, we were excited as homeowners because our pool in the backyard was out of commission for about 4 years. We didn't, you know, we wouldn't let anyone back there. It was so dangerous. This house is built in 1960s, so it needed a lot of work. We've really, personally, I think we've beautified our home, you know, to our liking. We thought we learned, that, you know, the last couple times with the contractors. Those were smaller jobs, so I guess they didn't. The things that were left undone or where they failed to perform as a contractor weren't that big or that costly for us to fix. But the pool is a big one because some of the concrete is now cracking. It's only been laid out for about a week. As my husband stated outside, you see all the little minor details, you know, to people, and you know, just in the naked eye, you can see they're just little minor details. But those minor details are going to cost us a lot of money to fix. And it shouldn't be, because we entered into a contract paying $31,000 for something that was promised. A lot of it was unfortunately verbal, because we did enter into the contract in good faith, and this particular contractor was highly recommended. We took his word, and we did have a contract, but I think our contract was very vague. Some of the things I learned in this class, especially with the Hadley damages, is how can I, as a consumer, avoid, you know, Hadley damages, is probably making sure that I have, not probably, but making sure that I have a solid contract, that I put all of the terms in there, that a contract can be amended, can be voidable, you know, payment, you know, how are we supposed to do the payments? There's a really good famous quote that I'd like to recite, that if you got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. And that's by Yogi Berra. We had no idea where we were going with this project. All we knew is that we wanted our pool to look beautiful. We wanted our concrete even. You know, so that we're able to invite family and spend a lot of time back there, especially after not being able to walk out there for a couple of years. We wanted the concrete done and the pool remodeled. You know, we had ideas and we had pictures. But from personal experience entering into a contract with the home remodel, it's a lot more complex than originally thought. We have had our backyard pool, you know, remodeled, and it's beautiful now. but you know, unfortunately, I think in the future, this class has taught me that I need to ask the who, the what, the where, when, how much, you know, deadlines, background of the contractor, maybe just more terms, you know, terms and hopefully the terms that we have and the contractor's terms, and that we're able to both understand that clearly. This concludes my presentation with contracts. I hope that you know this can help somebody. Some of the things to avoid in a contract, as well as some of the things that are really important that need to be in that contract for your own benefit. You know, and so that you know you're able to avoid these costly misunderstandings and communications. I'm really thankful for Business 347. I've learned so much. I'm going to continue to read my book and continue to learn much more about contracts, because we still got a couple of more projects we have to do. And this class has really, truly helped me so much, you know, made me wiser, especially as a homeowner. So I thank you, and I'm just very, very grateful to have learned and had this experience with you, Professor. So thank you so much, and bye. Have a great day.